Sound has always surrounded you, but have you ever wondered if it does more than just fill silence? Every word you've heard, every song you've loved, every voice that touched your heart wasn't just heard, it was felt by your body, by your cells, by your field. Because sound is not passive, it's vibrational. And vibration doesn't just move through air, it moves through matter. Your bones, your blood, your organs, all resonate. So what if sickness is just a disharmony of frequency? What if healing isn't always chemical, but vibrational? Ancient civilizations believe this. Modern science is beginning to confirm it. And you're about to see sound not as entertainment, but as medicine. If this part made you question how sound truly affects you, comment, I listen deeper. And don't forget to like this video. Your support echoes further than you think. The first sound you ever heard wasn't a voice, it was a heartbeat. Inside the womb, your entire world pulsed with rhythm. The mother's breath, the thump of blood, the lull of internal tides. Before you ever opened your eyes, your nervous system learned through vibration. This is why certain rhythms calm you, why low tones feel grounding, why music can bring you to tears before a single lyric is sung. Because your body remembers. Every organ has a frequency. Your heart, your liver, your brain. They hum in harmony until something knocks them out of tune. Trauma, toxins, thoughts. And what if, instead of fighting the symptom, you could reintroduce the right sound? This is the foundation of vibrational medicine, not metaphor, mechanism. And it starts with remembering. You are not a structure, you are a song. If this part made you feel the resonance of your own body, comment, I am frequency and form. And if you're feeling the vibration of truth, like the video to amplify the signal. In ancient temples, sound wasn't art, it was architecture. Priests in Egypt chanted tones to open gateways of healing. Monks in Tibet used gongs to harmonize the chakras. In India, mantras weren't just words, they were vibrational codes. Because they understood something we forgot. Sound rearranges reality, not by magic, by physics. When you strike a bowl of water with a tone, the surface forms a pattern. Change the tone. The pattern shifts. Your body is 70% water. Imagine what every sound you hear or speak is doing to your system. Anger hardens. Fear scatters. Love expands. Words carry tone. Tone carries energy. Energy becomes form. This is why one voice can heal and another can wound. Not because of meaning, because of frequency. If this part made you rethink what you let into your ears, comment. I curate my soundscape. And like the video if you're tuning into what ancient wisdom always knew. Your cells don't have ears, but they respond to sound because they're made of vibration. Every organ has a natural frequency, every tissue a tone. When you're healthy, your body hums in harmony. When you're sick, that harmony is disrupted. A dissonance enters the system. But what if healing is just retuning? In vibrational medicine, this is the core idea. Restore the right frequency and the body will remember its coherence. Tuning forks are used not just to test pitch, but to bring organs back into balance. Solfeggio frequencies, like 528 Hz, are said to repair DNA. Binaural beats influence brainwaves, shifting you into relaxation, focus, or deep sleep. It's not theory, it's resonance. Because your nervous system isn't just electrical, it's vibrational. And your biology listens to what your ears ignore. So the question isn't, can sound heal? It's, what are you healing or harming every time you speak? If this part made you pause before raising your voice, comment, I tune before I speak. And don't forget to like the video if this resonated with your deeper knowing. There's a reason ancient healers sang over wounds. Why shamans chanted before ceremony. Why monks spent lifetimes in caves, intoning syllables that vibrated through stone. They weren't just making noise, they were aligning fields. Because sound is not entertainment, it's instruction. Every mantra, every chant, every sacred tone isn't just for the mind, it's for the field around the body. The aura, the biofield, the space where energy and intention meet. Modern science is catching up. Studies show that humming increases nitric oxide, a gas that dilates blood vessels, boosts immunity, and relaxes tissues. Singing regulates breath and heart rhythm. Chanting reduces cortisol, the stress hormone that fuels disease. But more than biology, sound shifts state. It moves you out of chaos, out of fight or flight, into coherence. That's why you feel better after singing in the shower than screaming into a pillow, because your voice, when used with intention, is medicine. And the more you remember this, the less you'll let your voice carry distortion. If this part reminded you that your body listens to more than your words, comment, "I speak as medicine." And make sure to subscribe, because the next parts reveal how sound shapes space, memory, and time. Sound doesn't just affect the body, it shapes space. Walk into a cathedral, feel the hush, the reverence. It's not just architecture, it's acoustics. The way sound bounces, lingers, settles, creates a frequency field. Temples knew this. That's why they were built with stone and silence, not for beauty, for resonance. Because space holds memory, it echoes what's repeated. This is why a room where arguments happen often feels dense, even when empty. It's why sacred chants cleanse not just people but places. Because when vibration meets structure, it reorganizes it. You are doing this all the time, just unconsciously. Your words vibrate through your home. Your tone leaves impressions on walls. Your music, your sighs, your silence. They imprint space, which means healing sound isn't just personal, it's environmental. You don't just tune yourself, you tune your temple. And when you do it with intention, rooms become sanctuaries. Homes become healing fields. If this part helped you feel the power of sound beyond the body, comment, "I tune the space I live in," and stay tuned. Next, we'll explore how sound stores memory across timelines. Sound is not just a wave, it's a record. Every note, every word, every chant leaves an imprint, not just in the air, but in the field. This is why some places feel ancient, why a single note can stir memories you never consciously formed, why your grandmother's lullaby still calms you. Decades later, sound stores memory, not metaphorically, vibrationally, because frequency doesn't just travel, it embeds in water, in walls, in DNA. Studies in epigenetics now suggest that trauma can be inherited through resonance. The voice that shouted 2 generations ago still echoes in your nervous system. The silence that swallowed your ancestors' grief still hums in your cells. But here's the miracle. Just as dissonance imprints, so does harmony. You can rewrite the vibration, not with force, with frequency, toning, humming, sacred sound. These aren't New Age practices. They're retrieval, remembrance. You're not adding something, you're clearing distortion to hear what's always been beneath it. If this part helped you feel how sound carries ancestral and emotional imprints, comment, "I rewrite the vibration I carry." Because healing isn't invention, it's tuning back to what's true. Sound doesn't just heal by entering the body, it heals by awakening what's already within. You are not passive in this process, you are an instrument, and every cell of your being responds to resonance, not just physically, but consciously. That's why chanting feels different from listening, why humming shifts your mood, why your own voice, intoned with intention, does more than any playlist ever could. Because when sound comes from within, it realigns the field from the inside out. This is the power of vocal toning, of mantras, affirmations, sacred syllables. The voice is not just expression, it is activation. It vibrates the bones, massages the organs, resets the nervous system. But beyond biology, it rewrites belief, because sound is a carrier, and intention is the cargo. That's why 2 people can say the same words, but one lands like medicine, the other like noise. It's not the syllable, it's the signal behind it. So the question is, what are you vibrating when you speak? What are you sending into your own field with every word you say about yourself? Because your voice isn't just sound, it's spell work. If this part reminded you that your own voice is your first healing tool, comment, "I speak with resonance," because healing begins with the sound you choose to believe. Silence is not the absence of sound. It is the space that allows sound to work. In a world saturated with noise, healing often begins with subtraction, because sound can only reorganize chaos when it's followed by stillness. The nervous system doesn't just respond to frequencies, it responds to contrast. The moment after the gong fades, the breath between mantras, the hush that settles after a bowl is struck. These are not empty moments. They are sacred recalibrations. In fact, studies show that silence between tones enhances neuroplasticity. It's not just the vibration that matters, but the space it opens. This is why deep healing sound journeys don't fill every second. They weave spaciousness. And in that space, the body integrates, the field aligns, the soul listens. Because silence isn't the opposite of healing, it's part of the rhythm. You don't just tune through tone, you tune through pause. So next time you feel overwhelmed, don't just reach for sound, reach for silence. Not as escape, but as resonance recovery. If this part reminded you that rest is part of the melody, comment, "I honor the healing in stillness," because even silence is a sacred frequency. In a world drowning in noise, silence has become revolutionary. But not all silence is absence. Some silence is resonance, a stillness so deep it recalibrates everything around it. This is what sound healing reveals, that silence is not empty. It's full of potential, full of listening, full of integration. When a sound journey ends, when the crystal bowl fades, when the mantra dissolves, what's left is the echo, the space, the reset. And it's in that space where healing anchors. Because healing isn't just what you feel during the sound. It's what you release after it. It's what doesn't return. It's what no longer fits. That ache you stopped noticing. That fear that stopped ringing. That memory that lost its sting. This is the aftermath of resonance. It doesn't shout. It doesn't argue. It simply rewrites. And sometimes that rewriting happens in silence more than in song. So the question isn't what sound will save me. It's what will I allow the silence to reveal? If this part made you feel how silence holds the final frequency of healing, comment, "I listen through the stillness." Because when sound fades, truth emerges. True vibrational medicine isn't a performance. It's not about singing bowls on Instagram or chanting in candlelight for aesthetics. It's not the performance of healing. It's the physics of it. Because every tool, whether it's a tuning fork, a mantra, or even your voice, carries potential. But potential without presence is noise. You don't heal just by hearing. You heal by harmonizing, by surrendering, by allowing the sound to reach the parts of you that language has failed. Real sound healing doesn't always feel peaceful. Sometimes it stirs. Sometimes it unearths. Sometimes it cracks the shell you mistook for self. Because vibration breaks illusions. It reveals what's discordant. It brings to the surface what was hiding in the background hum of your being. But here's the gift. Once it's surfaced, it can shift. That tightness you thought was just the way it is, that sadness you couldn't explain, that pattern you kept repeating, resonance reorganizes it, not by fixing, by realigning. If this part reminded you that sound healing is not entertainment but embodiment, comment, "I surrender to the resonance," because the deepest songs don't soothe you, they retune you. You've heard it said, everything is vibration. But here's the part they forget to tell you. Vibration is not just a concept, it's responsibility. Because if everything is vibration, then every thought you think, every word you speak, every silence you hold is part of the field. Your presence hums, your beliefs emit tone, your nervous system plays a frequency into the room long before your words arrive. This means you are not just a receiver, you are a transmitter. You are sound medicine or sound distortion. And when you become coherent, when your inner signal matches your outer stance, you don't just feel better, you make others feel safe. You've met someone like this. They enter a room and everything softens, not because they said anything, but because their frequency made space. This is vibrational medicine at its highest. Not tools, not songs, but people tuned to truth. If this part made you feel the weight and beauty of your own energetic signature, comment, "I become the medicine," because the most healing frequency is a human being in resonance with their soul. Most people think healing is something they receive from a sound bowl, from a healer, from a track on YouTube. But the truth, the real healing begins when your body becomes the instrument, your breath becomes the rhythm, your heartbeat becomes the baseline, your voice becomes the overtone that reclaims the room. You don't need a tool to recalibrate. You are the tool. Humming tunes your vagus nerve. Chanting regulates the nervous system. Even whispering with intention can shift your state, because sound is not volume, it's vibration with direction. This is why your words matter. Not just what you say, but how you say it. The cadence of your compassion, the tone of your boundaries, the silence between your phrases. Each one holds code. When you speak with clarity, when your voice aligns with your breath and your breath with your heart, people don't just hear you, they feel you. And the field around you tunes itself to that integrity. This is not performance, it's presence. So if this part reminded you that you've always been a frequency maker, comment, I tune through truth, because the most healing sound is the one you make when you stop performing. Now you know, sound was never just music. It was never just noise or therapy or background. It was structure, instruction, creation. From the vibration of the first word to the whisper that calms your breath, everything has been shaped by resonance. You were not born into silence. You were born into a symphony. The cells in your body, the organs in your chest, the thoughts in your mind, they pulse, they hum, they sing. Not metaphorically, literally. You are not just affected by sound. You are composed of it. And now that you remember, everything shifts. Healing becomes less about seeking, more about tuning. You no longer ask, will this fix me? You begin to ask, what am I vibrating with? What am I allowing to play through me? What do I want to amplify? Because the truth is, you're not just listening to the world, you're broadcasting into it. So speak with precision, breathe with presence, hum with intention. Live like every moment is a note in the score of your soul, because it is. And when you do, you'll begin to attract the harmonies that match the music you've always held inside. This is vibrational medicine, not a miracle, a remembering. So if this journey helped you reclaim your voice, your rhythm, your inner tuning fork, comment, I am the sound that heals. And don't forget to like this video and share your thoughts below. Because when enough of us remember what we're made of, we don't just heal ourselves, we retune the world.